Hey guys, I know I've got a couple students out absent today, so I'm going to post this video on Google Classroom, kind of give you some help. You can access your book online at pearsonrealize.com and use your login information there. If you can't remember it, just shoot me a message or ask me a question on Google Classroom and I'll send you that login information. But you should be able to access this if you don't have the book at home. So I'm going to start with 2.2 today, which begins on page 46 in your book, and we're dealing with unequal shares. So if you'll go through and read this little story here, we're going to talk about sharing moments when you have something to share and you have to share it unequally. So like it uses the example that like your older brother paid more for the video game, so he's going to get more playing time than you would. And so when are moments when you share things but you share them unequally? So they give us a scenario of Crystal and Alexa, the two sisters that go to a birthday party, and at this birthday party they eat gummy worms and they have to share the gummy worm instead of eating birthday cake like at a normal birthday party. So they get to share the gummy worm and eat amounts based on their age. So Crystal is 12, Alexa is 6. So their gummy worm they're sharing is going to be a total of 18 segments. So make sure you're reading through this, and that's going to line that story out for you. So when we go to work out problem A, or before we get to problem A, the question says, how would the girls share a 9-segment chewy fruit worm? So they're sharing an 18-segment chewy fruit worm. I just made this table here. Instead of drawing out a fruit worm, you can just set up a quick, simple table. So they've got 18 total segments in the chewy fruit worm. Alexa is 6 years old. She's 6 years old, and Crystal is 12 years old. So Crystal's going to get 12 of the segments, and Alexa's going to get 6 of the segments to make the total 18. So 12 plus 6 equals 18. Okay, so they're sharing based on their ages. So we're going to use that 12 to 6 ratio to answer the next question, which said how many segments would each of the girls get if they shared a 9-segment chewy fruit worm? Well, we know that 12 is 2 times the amount of 6, so whatever numbers we have here, this number has to be twice as big as this number, and when you add them together they have to equal 9. So we know that 6 plus 3 equals 9, and 6 is twice as big as 3. So that combination there would work. Now question A on problem 2.2 here says draw some chewy fruit worms with different numbers of segments that Crystal and Alexa can share without having to make new cuts. So you don't have to draw all of the chewy fruit worms, just continue adding to your table. That'll be fine on that one. So what other fruit worms could they share that follow this 12 to 6 and 6 to 3 rule, where this number is always twice as big as this number? What would be those total segments? How big would those worms be? So if I know this side is twice as big as this side, another possible one I could make would be 4 and 2. So Crystal could get 4 segments, Alexa could get 2 segments because 4 is twice as big as 2. And when I add those two together, I get a 6-segment chewy fruit worm. So they could have a chewy fruit worm that has 6 segments and split it this way. Crystal gets 4 pieces and Alexa gets 2. I can keep going and do a 2 and 1. 2 is twice as big as 1. And when I add those segments together, it gives me a total of a 3-segment chewy fruit worm. So Crystal would get 2, Alexa would only get 1. And when we get to this, we talked about it, when we get to that 1 unit, we call that a unit rate. Okay, so this 2 to 1 ratio gives us the pattern that we're going to follow to fill out the rest of this table. So you can continue filling out and giving me more possible chewy fruit worms they could have. So I want you to add more to this table. I'm going to stop right here, but I want you to come up with some more on your own. But one thing we noticed in the class is that all of these total segments also have something in common. And we noticed it had to do with this unit rate we found here, this 2 to 1. All of these total segments we got over here we found were multiples of 3. So you could do like 24. 24 segments is a multiple of 3. So how would you split that so that this number plus this number equals